right, so we're going to continue our start building models or start painting models series. And we're working our way through tools and through assembly because that's really the first step when you get to paint miniatures and stuff. So we've covered hobby knives and we've covered clippers, which are pretty much the two essentials. And now the third essential, which is pretty much all you need to get started, is glue. And this is not going to be really like a sexy video. It's very a beginner type of subject because it's something that you just need to know, and then once you know it, you're kind of good to go. But I think it's one of those things of like, I wish I'd known this before I purchased a bunch of things. So we're going to cover this. And really, there's two approach to glue here that you can get, and these are the two ones that you will want to build models mainly. Of course, there's a couple of like exception. We'll talk about those later, but for the most part, usually people sell for either of these or both of them because it's not really costly. Now, the first kind here is plastic glue or plastic cement, and then the second kind is cyanoacrylate. You can see here, or like super glue, as it's commonly called everywhere. And these are like the two types of glue, and I got a couple of each. Now I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Glue, this kind, is a super generic product. Okay, this is very, very important stuff. No matter what you buy, like what kind of brand or whatever, it's always the same thing. Okay, if you buy like a brand here that says, made with our super secret ingredient, that super secret ingredient is love. Okay, it's nothing. This is a very basic chemical thing. Glue is like a very generic science-based product, so you never really want to buy like a super specific kind, right? Like it's always the same thing. What you're looking for is the consistency and the container. So I'll give an example of these two here. These two are a good example. So this one here, the container is a little paintbrush. I don't know if we can see it in there. The container here is a little paintbrush. You just apply your glue with the little paintbrush, and you can see it's like water, right? All liquid and stuff. The Citadel one, it's pretty much the same product, but the applicator is this big long metal straw, and it's a little bit more gel-like, so it's a little bit less liquid. So some people will like one, some people will like the other. And then this one, there's like all sorts of controversy about this little thing here. I'm not going to get into that. This is neither here nor there. And the same thing here, where this one here, this is kind of my favorite like go-to things, is these super cheap little packets. And you just buy this. It's a little small container, and then if it clogs or whatever, you just chuck it, and you get 3 replacements already. And this is also like water, whereas this one here, much bigger container. We're more in like a straw type of situation, and this one's also a little bit more gel-like. So this one here, it goes on everything, everywhere, all at once. This one here, this one stays a little bit more in place. So everybody finds like the thing that they like about glue. So some people, they can't handle this because they end up like gluing their fingers to everything. Some people don't like this because it leaves a little bump. It's never really flat because it's just a little bit too thick. So that's kind of a personal preference. Now, in terms of glue, like which one would you choose? This kind of comes down to personal preference. If you're like doing just Games Workshop kits or even military models and stuff, you probably can stick to plastic glue only. First of all, it's much safer all around. And the one thing that you need to know is that plastic glue only works on plastic. So it only glues plastic with plastic, nothing else. And some sort of like weirder kind of plastic, like the non-Games Workshop, non-Gunpla plastic, like the softer plastic or what's called like plastic resin, which I think War Machine was a big fan of. It does not work with this. And the reason that it works is that basically it melts plastic just a little bit. And so as it evaporates, the two pieces that are melted are going to meld into one another. And the reason that these ones here are actually brand names is because plastic cement is a little bit more hobby related. So it's finding a generic brand of this is not as commonly available as these things that you can find like in hardware stores and whatnot. And it's still pretty cheap. Like this one here, I think Canadian is like $10 or $11, and this is like $7 or $6 for this container. So it's not even gonna break the bank to get this. And they're both again they're both like the same thing. This is not a thing, you know, like Citadel. Sometimes you pay a premium like with their tools where like it's written Citadel, and the glue is kind of it's priced pretty fairly. And then this one here is the extra thin. It's everyone's favorite, and then apparently you can buy like a gallon of it under another name for it. But again, this works plastic on, plastic only. You cannot glue anything else with this. It will not work. Cyanoacrylate here is super glue. It's the most commonly available, and this is the best because it glues, you know, plastic, resin, metal, your hands, everything. Okay, everything is gonna get glued with this. So I like it. This is my favorite option. I use this one all the time, and you can see again. This is like the most generic. I buy these in bulk, and right now it's called the tough guy. Yeah, tough. I like it because you know it's very manly. So you know I need all of those alpha male type thing because I build little toy soldiers for a living. So yeah, so this one here is called Tough Guy, but it's really the one that I had before that had like a different name. This is like unbranded. And then same thing. This one here I get from a friend. It's not really like an actual brand of thing. Like I would replace this with the same. I just like again the container is different and the consistency is different. So if you're looking for a super liquid glue, this one's better. If you're looking for a more gel-like, this one is the case. And these also exist with like the little brush applicator thing if you're so inclined. I've never found this to work really well for super glue. I'm a big fan of these things. These cost like I think like 50 cents per little tube thingy, so it's like really cheap. And if they clog, like if glue gets in the lid there, you just chuck it. Yeah, it's not a big waste. Whereas this one, you kind of like you have to like cut the tip as you go lower on it, because every time it glues, you kind of break it off. So some people don't like that, but the ratio for like your money, you get more of your bangs, you get more bang for your bucks on this format if you don't lose half of it. And the cool thing about this glue here is a little product called activator or accelerator, which is what the Zap Kicker actually is. So this little product here, it makes this glue like this, not like fast like this. And this turns it instant, so you don't have to wait. This is why I like this better. It's because I don't need to switch in between stuff. I can glue everything, and with this thing, instant, including your fingers. So you know. So that kind of covers it for the basic glue. So pick one of those. If you're looking for easy, this is probably your best bet. If you're doing, you know, just Games Workshop stuff, get one of the plastic one. If you're looking for maybe a long-term solution, or you're not, you know, afraid of a little challenge, or maybe getting your hands dirty, literally, this is probably in the long run the best option altogether. And then we're gonna kind of maybe explore a couple of other, you know, like there's epoxy, which is kind of nice for like very large mold. Like I built a Warlord Titan from Forge World. Epoxy glue is really hard to fuck with. It's super good, but I would not use that on the regular. And then there's, you know, stuff for bases like a wood glue and white glue, PVA glue, all that stuff. We'll cover those when we get to the base part, I guess. It's not really important because you don't really need to build models. So again, when it comes to glue, consistency and container is what you're looking for, and then get generic brand. Don't overpay for stuff because of a fancy label, okay? Now,